We are going to talk about an important issue of continuing professional development. And first, let's talk about terminology. Continuous professional development, to me, is the same as continuing professional development. In ancient times, they used to use a definition, teacher development, TD, which I think is a bit old-fashioned. And the abbreviation is CPD. And the Russian version is повышение квалификации. But because we experience some traumatic experiences having повышение квалификации, we prefer to exchange it with CPD somehow. But to me, those four basic definitions, continuous professional development, continuing professional development, CPD, and повышение квалификации are the same, just for us not to jump into methodological battles because they will lead us nowhere. And that's an exciting topic we are going to talk about today. This is me. My name is still Dmitry, and I still work for the Dmitry Nikitin School. I'm a PhD specialist. I studied borrowings and loan words, such an exciting topic, especially for the modern years. I'm the owner of the Dmitry Nikitin School, which are real schools in Yaroslavl, and we also provide quite a lot of service mostly in Russia, all over the country, from Kamchatka, we worked there once, but mostly from Krasnoyarsk and Novosibirsk towards Sochi, all the way in between. And we teach teachers and we teach school managers and school owners. I consider myself an ELT thinker. I wrote several books on ELT and school management, and I'm a seemingly nice person and a cat lover. So this is how I identify myself. I'm kind of relocating for the cold part of the year in Yaroslavl, where I'm based now. And yesterday from Yaroslavl, a person who is looking after my cat sent me a message. I can't find your cat. I've been looking for your cat for 4 hours in a flat, and I don't know where she is. So I've been going through quite a lot of shock. Write a message in the middle of the night to Julia, who is here now. Could you design some beautiful advertisement, lost cat, and put it everywhere at night? And Julia saw it luckily in the morning, and somehow my cat is mysteriously back in my flat. Can you imagine it? So yeah, that's why I'm energetic, because I didn't have any sleep tonight thinking of my cat, which illustrates my identity of a cat lover. So, I wrote a book on CPD, which is called Reinventing Your Continuing Professional Development Journey, a set of learning tools for English teachers. Size doesn't matter, but it does in book titles and in golf. So let's carry on a bit. This is a picture of me in one of my favorite forests. And to me, going through our CPD journey is a bit like walking in the woods, working in the forest. Are they woods or forest? I think they're more woods than forest. And you have some kind of path. It's kind of wide, and the forest or the woods, they're huge, aren't they? But you have a path, and you have two big questions working in the woods. What's the logical progression, and how are the dots connected? And to me, these two questions, they are fundamentally questions which are driving my businesses and my continuing professional development and my teaching and learning for many years. What is the logical progression, and how are the dots connected? In other words, where am I going to get if I know? And how is everything I do in terms of CPD connected to achieving my big goals? So I think that's rather important to think about it, because from a perspective of a basic physics, there are way more things in life which we can have time to do. Basically, we don't have things to do, things we want to do and we can do. So that's why these two questions are fundamental. One more time, what's the logical progression and how are the dots connected? I'm sorry to be boring, but good teachers are boring, aren't they? Because they repeat things many times methodically. So, for a lot of people, learning is like that. You set a goal and you achieve the goal, and you may jump into conclusions that I'm a person like that. What's the logical progression? How are the dots connected? You set your goal, you go to the goal. That's what Dmitry is saying. Dmitry is not saying that. There are many things in between when you're walking in the woods. And to me, learning is more like the picture in the bottom. It's more chaotic. Yeah. What's the difference between learning and teaching? The name of the conference today is Teaching and Learning English in the 21st Century. Teaching is linear. If you imagine any book you use, maybe an international course book, and you open an international course book, which used to teach English, and you see a map, right, of the course, it's pretty linear. Yeah, you know that today you are teaching present simple, tomorrow you are teaching past simple, then you go to perfect tenses, and that's how the grammar syllabus is organized, for example. Whereas learning is chaotic. After you have already covered present simple, your learners may still make some mistakes. He like s, she love s, yeah, our favorite sounds, English sounds, s, s, s. But they may come up with quite advanced vocabularies they learn from computer games or they learn from blogs. So learning is chaotic. That's the difference. So to me, real learning and real CPD is a bit like that. It's a bit like the bottom picture, not the linear picture. And to me, CPD is also a bit like grass. That's not my picture. Julia found it. We can thank her. She's here now in this room. There's a beautiful picture of grass. To me, continuing professional development is a bit like grass. And when we understand this metaphor, that's better for us to feel good psychologically. Because we teachers, if we do something wrong, we are going to spend hours thinking about it. Yeah, if something didn't go well in our classes, we are going to spend quite a lot of time reflecting on that. But if something went really well in our classes, we will never notice. Yeah, and that's also the question of continuing professional development. To me, continuing professional development is a bit like grass, which makes it not continuing, by the way. It doesn't grow continually, yeah? But it's a bit like grass. It's soaking up some energy and some juices for quite a while, which is called winter. Then it grows pretty fast in the spring and beginning of the summer, and then it stops growing, yeah, and collecting more sun for a while. Then it gives flowers, then it dies. And then another winter comes. Winters are very important to the nature. Winters are very important to us as human beings. That's the time when we rest. Continuing professional development is a bit like that. We are soaking up some knowledge for quite a while, and then we grow suddenly, and then we stop growing, and then we soak up knowledge again, and we grow up again. I think that's a liberating idea. So let's look at approaches towards CPD through the years. That's a wonderful cup of tea. So in ancient times, there were two key approaches, which were CPD, continuing professional development, is done to teachers, and then it shifted towards a more kind of headway productive approach. Modern continuing professional development is done with teachers. In ancient times, I used to come up to my teachers and I used to tell them, you are going to go to London and you are going to take a CELTA course there, and I'm going to cover all expenses, traveling, visa, accommodation, CELTA, and everybody hated me. Nobody wanted to go to London. Nobody wanted to get paid. Even if they did want it, they felt unhappy after all. And all people who were sent to London by me on professional development courses left me. Yeah. So this is an approach when you do it to teachers. Why did it happen? Because if I really want to go to McDonald's and I really want to have a hamburger in McDonald's, and Julia comes to me and Julia would tell me, Dmitry, you have to go to McDonald's and you have to buy a hamburger, cheeseburger, some French fries and a Coke, and I will pay for that. I don't want to go to McDonald's any longer. I want to go to Burger King, because naturally people hate being managed. People hate being told what to do. Yeah, the tragedy of the modern world, by the way, of the recent years, that we are forced doing things we don't want to do, and we are forced saying things we don't want to say. yeah, and people hate it. So this approach is a bit catastrophic. So then we moved slowly towards doing CPD with teachers. Basically, you gather together with teachers and you talk to them. And together you decide, oh, maybe we want to start an observation system in our organization. Or maybe we want together to go to Yarkon and Yaroslav because we can find some ideas to teach better. Or maybe we can swap classes with our colleagues. Or maybe we can create our own material. And you do it with teachers, which is a bit better approach. But then I discovered two more approaches of modern CPD. First of all, to me, that's catastrophic thinking about CPD, continuing professional development, as about CTPD, continuing professional teachers development. Yeah, because there are a lot of other people in the school. There are admin staff members in the school, there are managers in the school, receptionists are in the school, lawyers, accountants, marketing people. There are quite a lot of people who are making the school. I think in every school for one person who is teaching, there is one person who is admin staff member. So at the Dmitry in school now, we don't have Petsavete or teaching meetings, but we have staff meetings where we gather together with all people who work for the organization. So I think we have to pay quite a lot of attention towards everybody's continuing professional development. Yeah. And professional development for administrators of our schools shouldn't be an Excel training. It should be something more interesting and engaging. I don't think any teacher would love to have an Excel training, right? So, and another thing is that CPD is done for our learners, I think. And that was such a liberating thought. And I'll give you a very short story I like a lot. I have a doctor, and she is doing quite a lot of CPD, a doctor who is looking after me. And my doctor, when you enter her office, you wouldn't see any certificate from anywhere. You know, quite a lot of people like putting their certificates on the wall, showing their customer that they're super good professionals. And my doctor, who is a super good professional, doesn't have any certificate. But I know that she has quite a lot of certificates. How do I know it? Once I came to see her, I had an appointment with her, and she told me, Mr. Gage, I've just came back from a conference in Istanbul, and they found a scheme of treatment for you. And we use this scheme of treatment, and it changed my life dramatically. So basically, I know that she is doing some CPD, but she is doing some CPD, my doctor, to help me to be better. Isn't that a wonderful thought that we are thinking about our learners, we are doing our CPD for our learners, and then obviously our learners see that we are doing CPD because their language is finally better. And that's what we are here for, right? We are here to teach the language as a liberating asset. So there are the key approaches to continuing professional development. And let's say that we are going to concentrate on the last two approaches. Yeah, that modern CPD is done with staff members, which is crucial. Including academic CPD is also done with staff members. We created, together with all staff members, administrative and academic, we've been creating, let's say, curriculum and syllabus for our organizations. And academic staff members and admin staff members contributed a lot. And then CPD is done for our learners. We think about our learners' interests first, about our certificates second. So how are we going to achieve it? I'll show you some activities which you can do as a teacher, talking about your continuing professional development. And then I'm going to show how these activities can be implemented in your classes. Because my idea of modern learning is very simple. If we want teachers to do something in their classes, we have to do the same with our teachers. That's catastrophic thinking that you are going to tell teachers what to do, to give them no autonomy, and they're going to ask their learners their opinions, and they're going to increase autonomy in their classes. That's catastrophic. If we want autonomy to be happening in our classes, we have to create organizations where teachers feel autonomous, yeah? And normally teachers do not have much choice, by the way, do they? We can't choose our books, we can't choose how many hours we teach, we can't choose our students, we can't choose many things, but we can be autonomous. I'm going to talk about it later. So that's a great activity which you can have on your personal CPD level. You can have a SWOT analysis. If you have ever done it, that's great. Do it again. Again, repetitio est mater studiorum. You can do it now and then, regularly. If you haven't done that, try. SWOT analysis in ELT is a bit like sex among teenagers. Everybody is talking about it, nobody had it. Because it's such a seemingly simple tool, yeah, SWOT analysis. You write your strengths, you write your weaknesses, you write your opportunities, and you write your threats. And sometimes you think, this tool is so simple, and it's going to change my life to the better. And I haven't done it before. Am I stupid? No, I haven't done it because it's not going to work. And that's an attitude to simple tools normally, but it's not that simple. So I suggest you to run SWOT analysis maybe, and there are some things which can occur in teacher SWOT analysis. For example, your strengths. I'm really interested and passionate about learning. I often attend CPD events online and offline. I always collaborate with my colleagues. I help colleagues. I'm a seemingly nice person, okay? What are my weaknesses? I'm late sometimes. Yeah, I shout at my learners. Kidding. I overuse mother tongue sometimes. Yeah. What are the opportunities I have? I can try to move towards a conference talk analyzing my learners. I can develop materials. I can learn some other ways of working with homework. What are my opportunities? And what are my threats? The majority of threats are connected with I teach too much. Yeah, I'm burning out, and health issues. Unfortunately, I worked with so many teachers, and when they start talking about threats, they always talk about health issues. Yeah, so just look after yourself. Remember, you are more like a grass, not a machine. So you can fill in the SWOT analysis on your own, and you can scan this QR code and you'll have all the instructions of doing SWOT analysis with your learners. It works from pre-intermediate level and up, and it works from age 12 and up. It's also good for adults. So you can do the same with your learners. But before doing it with your learners, it's very nice doing it with yourself and doing it with the colleagues. Students love doing SWOT analysis when it's taken seriously. The secret with SWOT analysis, you will have to go back at some point. Let's say you've done that in October, you put it in your telephone for December. Talk to your learners about SWOT analysis they felt in October. And in October, in December, they looked at their autumn SWOT analysis and they kind of reflect on that and they do it again. And you can do SWOT analysis 2 or 3 times per year with your learners. Highly suggested. Again, everybody is talking about it. Nobody really does it often. So, from personal continuing professional development, let's jump to another level. Oh my God, there are so many things you can do with your colleagues on a peer level. Yeah, when you work together with somebody. I think that's really important, working with a person you trust together. And it is important because teachers have very low energy in November, December, January, February, March, April. We are okay for September and October. We are kind of okay for the May, but then for 6 months in between, our energy goes down. Would you agree? Because at some point you have less sun, at some point you have less fruit and vegetables, at some point you are getting stuck to routine, and at the background you ask this terrible, awful question, am I going to retire teaching past perfect continuous? Is my last sound going to be she like and I passed away? Yeah, they're big questions. They're rather depressing, and we go through them every now and then. And there are answers to them, of course. And we can leave the professional together, or we can stay in the profession and that's up to you. Of course, that's your choice. And when your energy goes up, when my energy, I have PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, and sometimes my energy goes down pretty much, and I can't work properly for a couple of weeks. And in this case, I work with a person I trust. And my last book, Reinventing Your Continuing Professional Development Journey, a set of learning tools for English teachers, was written with Julie Stalerchuk, my co-author, and the majority of the book was finished when my energy was very low. Yeah, but we just met and we wrote together. We physically were writing together, and that's how the book was created. So when you feel your energy is a bit low, I suggest you working with your study buddy. You can slam with your study buddy, of course, by which we mean share, learn, stay accountable, and motivated. So, how to find a study buddy? There are two ways. Research tells us that if you like a person a lot and you talk to this person more and you work with this person more, you are going to like this person even better. But another research tells us that if you don't really like the person, which happens sometimes with teachers working within the same organization, and you work together with the person you don't like, you start disliking person less. Yeah. So that's up to you. You can challenge yourself by working with a person who you have some tension with, and then you become kind of closer friends. Yeah. As Winston Churchill beautifully put it, that's better to meet in jaws than in war. So you can find a study buddy, and with a study buddy, you can meet for 20 minutes and discuss these questions. When are we going to meet? How often are we going to meet? What are we going to do together? And then for the first meeting with your study buddy, so I really suggest you find a person you trust, meet with the person you trust for half an hour or for 1 hour, and discuss these questions. Aren't they wonderful, these questions? Do you remember yourself as a first-year-old teacher, as a first-year teacher, Innocent Lamb? Do you remember some facts from your experience where you were teaching a great lesson, but now you think it wasn't great any longer? Do you remember when you were teaching a rubbish lesson, but now you think the lesson was really good, but you thought it was rubbish? Why did it happen? Why did you shift your perspectives? And what was the best lesson you taught? What was the worst lesson you taught? What was the most challenging student you got? And the last question, why do you teach? I think that's really important. At least once per month, ask yourself and discuss it with colleagues, this question, why do you teach? Yeah, I have a friend and his uncle was a bishop in England, in an Anglican church. And once a boy came to a bishop and he asked the bishop, Bishop, do you believe in God? And the bishop told him, well, of course I believe in God. That's a stupid question. And then when the boy disappeared, the bishop spent like 1 month thinking if he really believed in God. And luckily his final answer was, yes, I do believe in God. But sometimes these kind of fundamental questions are very important to be repeated. Then these 11 questions, they also have a fantastic impact on your organization. If you discuss these questions while queuing for coffee, or while queuing for the classroom with your colleagues, or in your staff room, you stop gossiping. You stop gossiping about your teachers, you stop gossiping about admin staff members, you stop gossiping about your boss, you stop gossiping about parents and students, and you talk about real stuff. And people hate being in organizations where they have to gossip. But you have to gossip if you're in an organization where other people gossip. Yeah, so you discuss these questions while queuing for a cup of coffee. So I suggest to have this session with your study buddy, and then you think what you can do with your study buddy. And then you can do so many things with your study buddy. Yeah. So then you can introduce the same activity, study buddy system for your learners. Do you know many schools where that study buddy system is well established? I don't know many. Can you imagine you have a student with a difficult parent, and the parent is a bit over difficult, is a bit hysterical. Yeah, this wonderful phrase, I don't want to be difficult, but If you don't want to be difficult, you don't have to be difficult. There is no need, just stop being difficult. Because of a difficult parent, a student goes to another school, and then a student is back to your organization anyway. Yeah, because in another school they don't have, for example, study buddy system, which you have. And you can give them this classroom activity to your students and ask them together with your study buddy, you can appear half an hour before the class, and you can either talk about your language goals or do English homework together with your study buddy. Or at the Dmitry Nikitin school, some students who work in a study buddy system, they do their secondary school homework together at our organization. And they'll need to tell you how much they love coming to our organization 1 hour before every lesson, because they have help with their homework from their study buddies from their secondary school. Or you can test each other together, or you can record your oral answers and then give feedback listening to the recording. So there are so many things they can do. So then, at the organizational level, I think that's a great activity which I love a lot, swap classes. For example, Max is teaching IELTS students, and I'm teaching 3-year-olds. And Max is going to teach my class of 3-year-olds, and I'm going to teach Max advanced IELTS class. And then we both stop being teachers. Jokes, sorry. We do not stop being teachers. And then we discuss what happened. And then I can write some notes about every student in a class I replaced consciously, not because the teacher was ill. For example, Max is very active in class. Olga has a lot of creative ideas, sometimes too creative. Lisa isn't afraid of making mistakes, and it's good making mistakes sometimes. And then you give it to another teacher. And then when you're back to your class, you show it to your learners. Can you imagine what a tremendous impact it is on your learners? Yeah, that another teacher said something good about you. And no need telling you how much we teachers love listening good stuff about our learners. Yeah, so hearing good stuff about our learners. So that's a great activity, I think. Let's go to, so far we have covered personal CPD level, peer CPD level, organizational CPD level, and there are so many activities to do on each level, all described in our book, Reinventing Your Continued Professional Development Journey. Of course, maybe now Julie is going to be a bit aggressive and put a link to the book shop in our chat. So, and I think that's very important to go a bit up to mental detox and mindfulness CPD level. Yeah, just to stop a bit and think about gratitude. And you know that gratitude, basically saying thank you, is a way to a healthier lifestyle and professional relations. So one activity I like a lot you can do with your learners, do you know this M&M's activity? Yeah, and M&M's are called different in different countries. Yeah, in England they're called Smarties, in America they're called M&M's. So you give students a bag of M&M's and they take an M&M's randomly. And for each color there is a task. If they have orange M&M's, they have to name a person they're thankful for. If they have green M&M's, they have to name a place they're thankful for. Yeah. Brown M&M's, a pet you are thankful for. I'm really thankful for my cat Stephanie, who did not disappear last night. Yeah, because I'm not crying now and I can run a talk. So this is a great activity. People love saying thank yous. People love hearing thank yous, but people love saying thank yous even more, because sometimes we want to say thank you, but there isn't any chance to thank a person, or we are shy to thank a person, which is rather strange, isn't it? But that's how we are organized. So I think this is a great activity. Let's finish with one more metaphor of continuing professional development. It's me in my garden, and it's my back garden. And my back garden is rather private. Nobody can enter my back garden, of course. I can do so many things in my back garden. I have a lot of autonomy in my back garden. However, in my back garden, I can't have barbecues. I can't dry my underwear. I can't install any buildings. And I can't destroy holes in the grounds made by foxes, even if foxes do not use it. legally I cannot get rid of holes in the ground made by foxes. It's called private pedagogical garden. There is a wonderful pedagogical metaphor mentioned in a lot of research called private pedagogical garden. We teachers, we have to be part of an organization and part of the school. We follow the big rules of the organization. We share the same principles and methodological approaches, but we are quite autonomous. When we log our classroom, we are quite autonomous. And I think that's very important to understand that we teachers, we are part of a bigger community. But on the other hand, that's very important to respect our own pedagogical garden and to ask other people to respect our pedagogical garden and the level of our autonomy in our pedagogical garden, thinking that there are other pedagogical gardens around which also need to be respected. So it's magnolia tree, by the way, behind. It's going to give beautiful flowers in a couple of months. So I'm on many social media. I especially love my Yandex Music podcast, which is 3 years old today. The 18th of January 2021, my first podcast on Yandex Music appeared, and who knew that it's going to be so successful. So, and again, you are welcome to buy our book called Reinventing Your Continuing Professional Development Journey, a set of learning tools for English teachers, where you can find 30 activities for teachers and 30 classroom implementations of the activities, goes together with a wonderful support online. My name is still Dmitry, and I work for the Dmitry Nikitin School. Here I'm standing on our favorite and famous ELT balcony in Yaroslavl, the beautiful mansion of the 18th century.